If a man wants to call himself a man from a biblical perspective, these things have to be in place. Now, unfortunately, first we got to do some deprogramming here. I want you to understand what has happened to us. We define manhood. You know, it has been said by the 3 B's, okay? We define manhood on the ball field, in the bedroom, and by the billfold. In our culture, that's how we've been taught to define manhood. On the ball field, in the bedroom, and by the billfold. That's it. How does he perform athletically? How does he perform sexually? How is he with the ladies? And how much money does he have? That's how we define manhood in our culture, whether we like it or not. And unfortunately, for those of us who claim to be followers of Christ, and in large part because of what we've just heard, our definitions are no different. We define manhood by the 3 B's. I am the homeschool father of 4. My oldest son is not with me today. He travels with me. I travel about 8 days a month. Any less, and it'd be hard for me to feed my family. Any more, it'd be hard for me to say with a straight face that they're the most important thing in my world. But I travel about 8 days a month, and my oldest son travels with me. He does that full time. So from the time my oldest son became 13 years old, I became his teacher. When he was 13, he went through a manhood ceremony, and one of the parts of that entering into manhood was his mother turned over the books, and I became his teacher of all of his subjects, and more specifically, his discipler. He is my disciple. There is no man in the world that is more important for me to disciple than my son. And so as a result of that, he spends his time traveling with me. And the interesting thing about that is I get a lot of questions, several questions I get, you know. People look at me and they go, you know, you're a pretty big guy. You look like you're a ball player or something like that. So yep, been there, done that. Okay, it's great. And, you know, son, you know, he's 14. He's, you know, pretty big kid. And I'm just wondering, you know, with you guys doing this, how's he going to play ball? When people say that to me, here's what I hear. I want to know how your son is going to be able to worship at the altar of the sport god. To which I respond, who cares? I don't. It's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. We don't need another ball player. We don't. We need men with trained minds. We need men with godly, biblical character. We need men with multi-generational vision. We need men who commit themselves in all their faculties to the glory of Almighty God. I am raising a warrior for Christ. That's what I'm raising. Not an entertainer. That's not what I'm raising. A warrior for Christ. Who cares?